So I have been close to the beach for a little while now in my travels. And this phrase keeps popping up in my head as I've watched the waves crash up onto the beach and smooth out the sand and um, get rid of all the footprints of people who have walked past and those kinds of things. And it's a phrase I'm sure you've heard. You probably have even used it before. And it's drawing a line in the sand. Now, I get the meaning of it that you have come to a point of decision, right? Like you're drawing a line in the sand, you're not going any further, or you're drawing a line in the sand and at once you reach that point, you'll stop whatever activity you're doing or etc. So I get that. But the thing that has always kind of perplexed me about this is that sand is so malleable. So I could easily take my hand and just get rid of that line. The water can come and wash up on the beach and get rid of that line, and there it goes. And so, how firm is that decision if the line disappears or it can be moved to another place? And so, I did some digging, of course, to learn about the origin of this. And really, the true origin of the phrase is unknown. It's been referenced in a lot of different ways. Um, and the basic gist of it is that it evolved from a bunch of different people literally drawing a line in the dirt or in sand and having people make a decision to be on one side or the other for a variety of scenarios, whether it's war, whether it's politics, lots of different scenarios out there, and you can look those up on your own. Some of them are quite fascinating. Um, but it hasn't evolved as we have evolved and progressed as a society. And um, so it's just got me thinking about commitment and how sometimes we draw lines in the sand for ourselves, but because we drew it in sand, we then move it like, oh, this is too challenging, or that inner critic in our mind tells us like you can't do this, and so we move that line closer to us to make it more achievable. Or sometimes it's just the opposite. The You get to that line so quickly and you realize, gosh, there's so much more I want to do, so I actually want to move this line out further. Or sometimes you get rid of the line altogether because you decide that it's just not worth it for any number of reasons. And so I just wonder, like, what's the use of putting a line in the sand if you're going to constantly move it? Myself included. I've been in this situation too. I should say that if we constantly move it, right? And so I started thinking about, well, what else would I draw a line in that would be more permanent? And the thing that keeps coming to mind is concrete. And you living in the city, you walk down streets and you can see a square or two of fresh concrete where they've redone the sidewalk, and inevitably someone has etched initials or a handprint, or sometimes even there's a footprint in there. And I think those are probably accidents. There's dates, there's all kinds of things that end up in this fresh concrete, and it's there for a very long time until the sidewalk gets torn up and redone, I suppose. Um, there's no going back from that. And so, my question for you is, are you drawing your line in sand or are you drawing it in concrete? I don't think one or the other is right or wrong. They just serve different purposes. And so, the point here is to be intentional about where you're drawing your line. How firm does this decision need to be? How long lasting does it need to be? Or do you need flexibility because you're learning and growing and learning about yourself, and that line is going to evolve and change as you learn about yourself even more? Uh, So that's my challenge to you, is be intentional about, are you putting your line in sand? Are you putting it in concrete? And where does it need to be, right? Where we want to draw the line and where we need to draw the line are two totally different things. So I hope that's got you thinking, and you all have an awesome weekend.